Bakari, your garmenting expert. Today, we're going to be looking at the ABCs of garmenting. And you wonder, ABCs, yes. When a child wants to start learning, first things they learn are the initial sounds, A, B, K. So today, I want us to look at garmenting from the perspective of what are the things that you need to have to be able to be an excellent garment constructor. First thing is A. A stands for attention to detail. Now, of all the things you would probably learn through your training, the first thing you need to pay attention to, of course, is attention to detail. You have to be able to pay attention. You need to train your eyes to be able to see. To see, you know, okay, if you place something on the table, can you easily tell if you've placed it upright? Is it slanting a little? Is it bent? Does your eye see that there's a dot on the whiteboard in a distance and your first instinct is to clean it or straighten out the line? Now, I want you to consciously put that into your thoughts that for you to be an excellent garment constructor, you have to pay attention to the detail. Attention to the detail. Your lines must be straight, your distances must be perfect. Your 1 inch is 1 inch, your half inch is half an inch, and your edge stitch is perfectly edge stitched. The only way to get there, attention to detail. So that's for A. And today we're going to be looking at the CDEs of garment construction. What are the CDEs of garment construction? Previously, we had looked at the A's and B's. Now we're going to look at what the C, D's, and E's are. So for C, C stands for consistency. Consistency means the capacity to do the same thing the same way every time. Again, to do the same thing the same way every time. Now, consistency is very important when you're garmenting because most likely you'll be doing a wide range of things. For example, if you're sewing in a garmenting line and your function is to place pockets, now the capacity to be consistent makes sure that every time you place a pocket, it has the exact same look. Now, because you learned the A of garmenting, which is attention to detail, consistency is like a cap on top of attention. So you have the capacity to follow through on the same action, the same way every time. Now we're going to be looking at D. What does D stand for? D stands for diligence. Diligence. To be diligent is said to be able to do something despite how hard it is, face it, and get to the end without giving up. A dictionary definition of diligence would be to say that diligence is a capacity to keep doing a thing no matter how difficult it is to get to the desired end. Now, how does diligence apply in garmenting? See, when you start doing any task, maybe you want to make like this top that I'm wearing, and you have 50 pieces of this top to make. You see, every step of the process that you're going through, and you keep going and you keep going. The diligence is the capacity to keep going until you have gotten to your number 50. Some of us will want to give up when you get to 40. You're tired. I know. I've been there. And you're weary. But you see, if you teach your mind to be diligent, meaning you set out from the beginning that you're going to achieve your aim, you will keep going with consistency, with attention to detail until you get to your 50. Then you are finished. Then you can give yourself a thumbs up that you were able to get to the end of your work. Now, diligence also applies to, for example, you have this dress to make. It's not a garmenting job, it's a production. You will have a friend's dress you're making or a client's dress you're making, and the person has to collect the dress on Friday. Diligence tells you that you have to start making the dress on Monday. If it's going to take 2 days, it's best to have finished the dress by Wednesday, have it all ironed, properly finished before Friday, than wait until Thursday. I had to learn this a very hard way. I have that thing. I used to have it. I always want to do everything last minute, last minute. And you know, there's this adrenaline that we pumping in your body. But there's something that I learned. The earlier I start the job, the better the result. I've had to rush through jobs that the results were really bad. It's not as if the dress was not nice. For example, you know, because you're so tired and you're pushing the deadline so much, no back stitching. You get a bad result. Your client gets a torn dress. It's such a bad report. My dear, you don't want to be that place. So just so that you learn from my own experience, my own mistakes, please let's be diligent. Be diligent means to start early. Be diligent means to do all the right things at the right places in the right time to make sure you get your desired result. And diligence also helps you to be a better person altogether in everything that you do as a student, as a mom, as a teacher, whatever it is that you're doing. Be diligent. So, see you in the E. Now we move to the letter E. What does E stand for? Yes, you guessed right. E stands for excellence. Now, look at where we're coming from: attention to detail, being consistent, becoming a diligent person, and now we're talking about excellence. Excellence means to be sterling. Excellence means to stand out. Excellence means to be a little exceptional, out of the normal. Now, excellence has to be your key word during this process. Security is meant for those who have the capacity to, when you are done, you still go ahead. When you are done, you still go ahead. You still go ahead until you're too tired, like you can't do anymore. Then you probably need to rest. So excellence is has to be your watchword. Your watchword every time you sew is to. Now let me tell you a story. When I started out um, sewing, I learned with one an aunt of mine. I learned how to freehand sewing first. I learned freehand sewing first. So she was really good. She used to make clothes for me. She used to make clothes for a lot of my friends. And she's taught me so many things. Now, the way my mind applies things is when you're teaching me something, I'm trying to understand the principle of what you're teaching. So while you are telling me, okay, so when person is about 636, you use 5 for the measurements, I began to apply my mind to say, okay, with every 1 inch increase in bust size, there will be a concurrent half-inch increase in the armhole, things like that. So, okay, while I was at this stage of my training, when I go home, I had a job then. When I go home, they will give me a task to complete before the next day. So I would have to work on it at night. By the time I get to the work, sometimes I'm so tired. There will be times where you're sewing where the line will be out of skewered. My dear, every time that happens, I will tell myself, Lamidi, a diligent man is the only one that will stand before kings. So I will take my seam ripper and I will begin to take out those seams. Take out those seams and I will go back again and I will sew the line as straight as I could. See, sometimes it will not be straight. I will take it out again and I will do it until it's well. Now, this was the result. Every time I made those clothes and I took them back to my trainer, the result was the person who received the dress would be like, wow, the sewing was so beautiful. I'm so sure you're not the one who made it. And she'll be like, oh, it's my doctor. That's what she used to call me. My doctor that did it. And, somehow in my heart, I would say to myself, that was the result of my diligence. And my diligence produced excellence, excellent results. I'm not always diligent, but a majority of the time, I try to make sure that my work comes out excellently. So, my dear, this is your opportunity to, put these A, B, C, D's, and E's together and become experts. by being all these things. I can't wait to have you in class where we are going to put all this attention to detail to work. Are you ready? See you
Before
there.
I knew my name, before I drew a breath, he was making ways for me.